this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Degraman. We're here pushing Cass out of the house because my mom keeps bugging him and feeding him overly feeding him. That's all I can say once we're finally on the street. My mother's miracles of hospitality have me feeling a bit of Spanish shame, which I can't seem to shake. We walk a little ways to avoid crossing paths with her before I start talking. I'm sorry, that was awful. Slightly, I couldn't have done a fourth. Maybe Cass has an incredible sense of humor, or incredibly not. Those Pellini have been sitting in the freezer for a long while now. Mom bought them just in case, which might have never come if it weren't for you. Worried that Cass might have an upset stomach later, I giggle nervously, but he's a Kwanzi. Their incredible powers extend to their stomachs too, right? I don't know what to do with my mom now. She thought we were dating. Of course. Was that a twinkle in Cass's eyes? I glare at him. Are you teasing me? Sometimes. Oh, we're getting to see more expressions, right? I want to rally you up a little. What for? You're trying to get back to normal, but it's useless. You will never be able to return to your old life again. But I arranged for my cats. I'm talking about your mom. The sooner you leave her, the easier it will be for the both of you. But why? You can never tell her what you are. He suddenly bops the tip of my nose. Bip! I'm here to fix your problems and back you up. Why is he so cool? I hate him for that. He's so cute! What the fuck? I say our goodbyes and I watch as he leaves. Waiting for the right moment to turn away, I go back to my apartment, but my mom is already gone. Apparently, she stopped home for dinner since she didn't have any appointments scheduled and has now gone back to the salon. Good, I have too much to think about and want to be alone. Volunteers begin to arrive, and one by one, they take all of my cats away. After each kitten is carried off, a crushing feeling in my heart grows stronger until my home is finally empty. I sit down on the floor where the kitty condo had once been and stare blankly at the wall as a storm rages in my heart. Having lost everything I have ever lived for, I now see absolute emptiness in all of its tyranny. Am I really not human? Then I thought I've been trying to banish pops into my mind. Nervously running my hand over my jacket, I feel the half-eaten packet of cookies I'd taken from Cass, and the whole puzzle comes together. I guess maybe subconsciously I had always felt like I was different from everyone else, which is why I've never revealed my true self to others, to my mom, as I was a well-groomed and attractive young lady searching for a rich sugar daddy. So I dutifully wore masks that were more comfortable for those around me than myself. When it came to everyone else, I pretended to be nothing more than a gray mouse. I'm a cheap fake. And I've always been desperate to feel this emptiness inside of me. Maybe that's why I've always loved cats so much. As long as I took care of them, they wouldn't care what I looked like. I just wanted to be needed, to be important to someone. It's very possible that if I hadn't learned the truth about why the other Kwanzis were being so nice to me, I might have fallen in love with one of them and stepped into my next role. Maybe that's why I'm so attracted to Cassel. He knows what he wants. He's sure of himself, and his direct behavior has me constantly removing my mask so he can see my true self. Going to the mirror, I look at my expertly made-up face, but is it really mine? No, it's not. This face is definitely not me. The image reflecting back at me is a harlot's visage. I begin to scrub off my makeup. You're a nobody. Now all I see is a reflection. All I see in the reflection is the colorless young girl that I am. But who says that's a bad thing? In this emptiness, I now see a blank canvas ready to be filled with true meaning. I want to hurry to Mother's salon right now, but that would only interfere with her work, and I have to bother Cass again. No, it can wait. Time won't change anything now anyway. Deciding to wait at home for her return, I begin sorting through my clothing and tossing the most necessary items into a backpack. It's hard to choose though, since half of them don't even feel like my own possessions. After a thorough search, I find some comfortable items and pull my hair back into a ponytail, which feels so much better. Finished packing, I sit down at the kitchen table and take out Cassel's cookies. When Mom walks in, she starts her conversation in the hallway as usual. Honey, I'm so glad. Cass is gorgeous, of course. His clothing choice is rather ridiculous, but all the rest makes up for it. Her tone soon changes when she sees me in the kitchen wearing gym clothes without any makeup on, eating cookies. I'm sure she barely recognizes me. Darling, why do you look so awful? Is something the matter? You gotta be firm here. Be firm. Mom moves to hug me, but I gently push her away. Encouraged by Cass's comment that I needn't fall back into the same old rut, I start talking. Can you just listen? I want to start a new life, and I can't do that while you're forcing your will onto me. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving. My voice is unusually firm as Mom stares at me in surprise. Are you leaving for Cassel? I'm leaving you, Mom. First she asks, then she screams, and she cries, and then she screams again. The pain of it is killing me, but at the same time, she's a stranger to me. I know she truly loves her daughter, but not me. Feeling no need to say anything else, I stoically endure everything she throws at me. Still, she is my mother and deserves to be heard. Mom, I can take care of myself. I'll call you when I'm settled. With unexpected resolve, I turned and leave the apartment. I had been so worked up over her trying to stop me that I forgot my bag in my room. It's only when I'm out on the street that I realize I hadn't called Cass to let him know I was leaving, so I immediately ring him. Sorry, I left the apartment alone. I'll be right there, don't hang up. And what seems like a couple of heartbeats, Cass is here. Homeless but happy, what the fuck? Without a jacket and wearing hastily tied sneakers. He looks so sincere, so warm that I don't even realize how happily I'm smiling at him. Why do I keep lying to myself? Maybe it's time that I admit I'm attracted to him. The emptiness inside of me eagerly reaches out to Cass, who is here yet again, staring at me with that piercing gaze. Don't do that again. I left my mom. Hurry. Having exhausted his reaction, he gets down to business. I can take you to the guest room or my room. I will need a couple of days to redesign and turn yours into an apartment. Oh, the choices are simply regal. Living with Cass when my attraction to him is flowering would be dangerous, but going to the party room and possibly seeing those hypocrites is even worse. At least Cass understands that I'm not going back to my mom now, even if it's only for a few days. Maybe I'm playing with fire, but I decided to take advantage of Cass's offer to stay with him and tell him so. And he immediately leads me to the house across the street. Does he really live that close? The house next door. Thinking about it, it's not all that surprising. He was stalking me after all. We climb to the top floor as I question what else I might do to give my new life meaning. Stopping at the door, I immediately know what my next step should be. Can you show me your abilities in quantum fields? He nods. In order to find myself, I must greedily devour every bit of knowledge I can get my hands on. Once I've learned enough, I won't need anyone else's protection, not even Cassel's. Okay, you say that, sure. He could be your partner in crime. He doesn't have to, like, be your protector. We could just be partners in crime. Once we're in the hallway, Cass turns to me. There's a specially designed training field. We should go there. The beach. And why does the thought of it excite me so much? No, that won't do. I'll be doing serious things there, not romance. It's similar to the Hex and Muta room, which will help you get used to them quickly. So don't be scared, okay? My thoughts of the beach and romance now have me feeling ashamed. We enter a familiar-looking area filled with an endless expanse of water, and I grimace. It's eerie in here. A lone figure is standing in the distance. Vincent? As we approach, I catch an acidic glance from the purple-eyed man. Oh yeah, he is absolutely beaming with joy now that he sees me. Hey! Is that... Did you just make that? Fortunately, he doesn't say anything before disappearing to thin air, leaving behind a cloud of black smoke that envelops Cass's hand. Wait, is Vincent the weapon? I thought you were the weapon. I'm a little confused. Fascinated, I watch as the smoky blackness takes on volume before my very eyes, and soon Cass is holding a sword in his grip. Although I don't know much about melee weapons, I can't help but appreciate the elegance of the blade that has materialized before me. Completely unadorned, its metal gleams beautifully predatorily. Cass's comment about Vincent being his weapon now make all the sense in the world. I thought Cass was Vincent's weapon, not vice versa. Oops. Still, these new wonders never cease to amaze me. With a slight flick of his wrist, a monstrous torrent of air hurtles forward, cutting through the water for several miles. I am intentionally moving slowly so you can see everything clearly. In practice, it will be much faster. I'm about to say something, but a cheerful voice interrupts me. Ryu, what the fuck are you here for? Oh, you guys, you're exercising. I'll join you. May the power of youth accompany us. As if out of thin air, Ryu appears right in front of us. Great. There's nothing better than a good sparring session. Okay. I mean, I guess you're the perfect opponent. Secret technique. Strike of the 17 tiger claws. Flashing a predatory smile, Ryu flings his arms wide as if in greeting and shoots a wave of daggers from the arc of their movement. Then with a few graceful steps, he causes the daggers to come at Cass from different trajectories. Yet with a single sweep of his sword, Cass slashes the blades from the air and they fall to the ground with an unpleasant clang. That isn't the end of Ryu's attack, however. The smiling man's movement reminds me of an expression. Flying is akin to dancing. But he really is dancing. From each of his steps comes a different weapon. Cass, however, is able to successfully repel each projectile as Ryu slowly approaches. Still, Ryu proceeds to declare each of his attacks with exotic-sounding names. I'm having a hard time keeping track of who is hitting who, but the growing number of wounds on both men are too numerous to ignore. You can't beat me. Because you can clearly see all of my movements, huh? Exactly. Suddenly the furiousness of Ryu's dance heightens, and all the blades that Cass had heretofore repelled began moving towards him again, but this time all at once. Cass swings his swords and a particularly sharp arc, and the gust of its force is so strong that I, despite standing off to the side, am thrown back. All the blades in the air shatter as Cass closes the distance for close combat. If Ryu had any advantage before, Cass has overcome it as he forces him back while repelling every weapon Ryu creates. But the smiling man keeps calling forth more weapons, all appearing a considerable distance from him before they shoot out at Cass. It's only when the cloud of blades begins to surround him that I notice. The water beneath Cass has turned red. I instantly feel as if they're not sparring at all. No, this is a bloodbath. Watching Cass get more and more injured, I bite my lip as I try to fight off the overwhelming urge to stop them. But the water under Ryu is also darkening. It seems Cass has managed to deflect some of the blades with his sword, and a few of them have flown back at Ryu. I think I might need to take this more seriously. Ryu then strips off his loose-fitting shirt and rolls up his trousers. Attack of the Clones dance. Can we stop? You guys are like literally killing each other. He then contorts his body into a sophisticated pose before suddenly blurring, and I'm slightly shocked to see 4 other people are now dancing with him. Well, 4 other Ryus, that is. They all have his same likeness, both facial expression and clothing. I can't even tell them apart. These copies of Ryu move with amazing synchronicity, as do their blades. I can also feel the music in the air. It is at this moment that a new kind of horror emerges. The entire atmosphere is filled with the sounds of metal striking metal, and now even more blood can be seen on Cass, as well as Ryu's dance trope. Cassel's tactics have also adjusted slightly. At first he was only using his sword, but now he and Vincent have exchanged places, which has greatly altered the flow of battle. Before, the fight had been more even with each opponent equally matched in strength, but now it's like watching a martial art flicks with snippets of K-pop videos mixed in. Why is it that everything that happens to me ends up turning into a joke? Something tells me that these madmen may continue fighting until they're both completely drained of blood. Let's close our eyes and see what happens. The sight scares me so much that unable to continue watching this horror, I slam my eyes shut. All I can do is pray that it all ends soon. I even cover my ears in an attempt to stifle the terrible images that my imagination conjures, which seems to help. I sit this way until someone touches my shoulder, and I slowly remove my hands from my ears. You can open your eyes. I don't want to. We're done. Why are you guys fighting like that? I thought I came here to learn combat, except I'm watching... Oh, shit. The desktop music was muted once again. I don't know why it does that. But, if you guys didn't hear the amped up music, you can hear it now. But anyway, I don't understand... I thought I came here to learn combat, and I watched them fight each other. Okay. Rarely open my eyes to look at Cass. He's sitting on his haunches while watching me, although there's barely any concern in his relaxed demeanor. Surprisingly, when I glance over his shoulder, I catch Vincent shaking Ryu's hand. They appear quite happy with one another. Am I in a violent cult or something? That's the only logical explanation for why these psychopaths are so willing to jump into bloody frays the very second an opportunity for one presents itself. The moment Ryu slips on his jacket, the snow-white fabric immediately turns red and he furrows his brow in frustration. Catching my gaze, he smiles charmingly and waves. That bastard still has his eyes on me. I'm not happy with the fact that he's hanging around us still. Who knows what he might do next? Despite being the only one who is obviously bothered by Ryu's advances, something draws my attention. Ryu's wounds are healing right before my very eyes. As the sight astonishes me, something that Cass had mentioned earlier began swirling around in my mind until I decided to ask him about it. Why are Ryu's wounds healing faster than yours? It depends on one's energy. Then that would mean Vincent has the least energy of them all. His wounds are healing a lot slower than the others, and he looks absolutely exhausted. Nice side profile. Kind of. And he doesn't seem to be radiating his usual overwhelming hatred now that he's so sluggish and tired. That's certainly interesting. Is there any way to heal more quickly? I mean, what if I get hurt? I'll need to patch myself up real fast. Is there no way to obtain this energy from somewhere else? You'll need to learn how to manage your own energy, which will allow you to control your regeneration. You can ask Bastard for help too, he won't refuse. Really, so if you want him now, would he help heal you? It's just a scratch, it'll heal quickly enough. There's no need to bother him. If there's no need for you to bother him, then why should I? Because you're a girl, you should be treated more tenderly. Don't start hitting on me now. Besides, I remember perfectly well you were first in the line to punch Vincent in the face when he was telling me the truth. Vincent hadn't kept his word, and he explained it all rather crudely, so I was angry. Oh yeah, and isn't settling matters with your fists also considered rude? Are you freaking nuts? I'm sitting right here. The confrontation that had been percolating finally subsides, so we enter the kitchen and Cassel begins to loudly and deliberately rattle dishes as he grabs them from the cabinet. I try to help, but quickly realize I'm only getting in the way. Hoping to learn more about the scope of the quantity's abilities, I sit down and continue studying them carefully. My wish is fulfilled when Ryu suddenly spins around and his clothes return to their original form. What kind of magic was that? Things can easily return to their original states in muter rooms. Really, but how? Does it apply to everything? Ryu picks up a glass from the table and drops it on the floor. The glass shatters on the hard tile, but as soon as Ryu touches the shards with his hand, they immediately reassemble. Huh. Very convenient if you're prone to temper tantrums. Which you are, girl, in the other multiverse, just fucking slamming dishes on the ground because you're angry. I don't know. Well, she never picked them back up for it to be, like, rematerialized. But this is where we're going to stop for today's episode. We're learning a bit more in this route, which is very interesting because, you know, Loner Route learned absolutely nothing because we've been alone. But thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.